I love when I get an opportunity to do this segment, and this is where we interview founders and co-founders of companies, big or small, in the trucking industry. And so this right here is really a public announcement to the 4,000 plus truck drivers that work for Bennett that might have never had an opportunity to talk to Miss Marcia. It's just so amazing how they started with $500, a credit line at $500 of that. So starting with not much, and living in a mobile home to being where they're at now, I thought it'd be great to share their story. You know, this isn't a sponsored video, just here to share the history of trucking and interview some of the people that make this happen in the industry, whether big or small. So if you'd like to be interviewed or be on this segment, email us at muthatruckernews@gmail.com, and I'll see and find my way to get there so we can learn some more and gain some information, maybe inspire some people. So let's get into today's video. But I'm telling you what, man, from a $500 credit line to building Bennett Motor Express, which is their flagship, Bridge Hall Fuel and Factoring, Eastern, American Eagle Logistics, Roadmaster and Mobile Home Transport, which she used to live in a mobile home. Now they're transporting him. Bennett Truck Transport, which is their RV motorhome, power only. Bennett Heavy and Specialized, Department of Defense and Department of Energy. Boss Crane, Boss Heavy Haul, Bennett International Logistics. I mean, you just add all those. You know, they have roughly about 14 companies all together. And so, further ado, let's get into this. Let's start with the highlight. I have a silly question to ask you.
Okay.
You know, I think the world wants to know, out of David, Danny, and Lynette, which one's your favorite this week?
My husband JD was a truck driver. He drove a truck all his life until he came to Georgia to start this little trucking company. And so, I mean, I love our drivers. Some of the best times that I can remember is sitting on the back of a flatbed trailer listening to truck driver stories while somebody grilled out in the parking lot.
You stated that you guys used to live in a mobile home, and now you guys have one of the biggest transportation businesses, right? I don't want to say that, but
we do. We are. We're the largest. Always say non-union transport of manufactured houses and modular buildings in the U.S. And I know I look at it and sometimes think it's very ironic because that's how we started, was in a mobile home. We had $500 a day we started.
We got my guy here. What's your name, brother?
Steven.
Steven. So, you know, I'm out here. I'm just filming, checking things out. Yep. And you're about to hook up and leave, huh?
Yep.
Let's check it out, baby.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So we're out here in the shop. You know what's going on, brother. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good. You know, how long you been working here?
6 years.
Oh, dang, 6 years? Yeah. I thought you were like 18 years old, man.
27.
27?
Yeah.
Hey, man, looking young. That's good, brother.
Appreciate it.
So, you know, tell us what's going on in the shop and what exactly is going on today.
Well, we've got a bunch of W990s coming through. Ready to get Bennettized in a sense.
What'd you call it?
Bennettized.
Bennettized?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so is this like the big boys, the heavy haul division?
Yes. 4-axle trucks. They're ready to do the heavy hauls.
Yeah, so let's walk around. Let me know what you guys look at and what you guys do to them.
So today's mission was wiring strobe lights. We've got a light bar up top.
Yep.
That's
I see it.
today's priority. That was right after we just mounted the headache rack on top. And before that, we've got side boxes on. Pretty much just getting them decked out. That way the drivers are doing what they need and comfortable doing it.
Look at this bad boy. Sheesh. This is crazy, man. That's cool, man. No, I appreciate you, man. No, thanks for showing me around, brother.
Hey, not a problem.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
And this one right here has been Bennettized. Same truck, same
So-
style truck. This is, I believe it's done.
It's just ready, huh?
Yeah.
So this one's a completed mission, right? Got the
ramps. You got to put wells and ramps on the back.
Yep, got the fenders on it already. Ready to rock and roll, huh?
Yep. Ready for a driver to get in it.
I heard that.
What's going on, Mother Truckers? We're hanging out here. This is a special treat here because I know David. I know Danny. You have a daughter named Lynette. Am I correct?
I do, yes.
I was joking around because when I saw how your name was spelled, Miss Marcy, I was like, is it Miss Marcy or is it Miss Marcia or is it Marcia?
Well, I've been called all those names.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start there.
When she was waiting to have me, she went to a movie, and the heroine in its name was Marcia. It was a Western.
Marcia.
So she came home and named me Marcia.
The trucking industry right now is a very difficult time for a lot of owner operators and truck drivers in the economy right now. And we're trying to get it better, and everyone's trying to stick in there. And so I wanted everyone out there to learn a little bit about you, but also maybe some nuggets here and there on how we can survive this together, right? I've heard your story from other people, and so I'm just excited to hear and learn more about, your life and the truth about how this kind of all started, right? And so, when I heard that, you come from a farming background.
I was raised on a small farm in southern Illinois.
So can you talk a little bit about that, like about just growing up on a farm?
Sure. Well, my children were born on the farm. It was our family farm, and we moved to Georgia. Myself and my 3 children moved to Georgia in 1971, and I came here to go to work for a small startup trucking company. It was called Specialized Truck Service. I didn't know what a truck was. I didn't know what a tractor was. I thought it was something you plowed the field with. I knew nothing. But we loaded everything we had up in the back of a 40-foot van, and I think it took up about 10 feet.
Really?
We came to Georgia, and we moved into a mobile home. And I went to work for this little small trucking company, and so consequently, I'll tell you a quick story. I went to work for a gentleman. His name was J.D. Garrison. I was single. I was divorced at the time, and he was from my hometown.
No way.
He was, and when I got here, I realized that he was the guy that when I was like 12 years old, I would walk past his house and I would see him. He was 11 years older than me, and I had this huge crush on him. And so, what is the odds? So when I got here, I thought, oh my gosh, that's the guy that I had the crush on.
Wait up.
Back home.
How did that kind of work out? Did you come up to him and tell him, hey, I used to have a crush on you when I was, back in our hometown? Or what did he ask you? How did you know he was interested?
Well, when I first, because I came to go to work for him. There was only 3 of us in the office. And no, I didn't tell him right away because I was just a skinny little kid, back at home. And, but then we kind of got to know each other.
Yeah.
And I think it was always one of those things that was meant to be.
When did it happen where you guys were thinking to yourself, I want to take out a $500 credit line to buy this George Bennett, truck lines, right? How did that come about?
Well, we had the opportunity. As I said, there was only 3 of us that was working in the office, and we were actually in a trailer behind Seago's Truckstop that used to be up on the corner. And this opportunity just came about that we could purchase it was George Bennett Truck Lines, and he had 2 small contracts, one in Sunshine Biscuit in Columbus, Georgia, and the other was Ford Motor Company in Tucker, Georgia. And so he would let us buy it on time. He was in bad health. So we had $500 the day we started. And it was tough. We were, as I said, we were in a mobile home behind the truck stop, and it was tough. I learned how to manage money very quickly whenever Mr. Flowers, who worked for Sunshine Biscuit, I would do the billing. I would bill everything on, and then one of the drivers that would be up here would go to Columbus, Georgia, and maybe meet another driver halfway. They would take our bills in to Mr. Flowers. He would cut us a check. And we would do the same thing. They would,
Yeah.
and so I could make payroll on Friday.
Oh my gosh.
And in 51 years, we've never missed a payroll.
For anyone, that wants to, get into this business and start their own, maybe small fleet, maybe start out with one truck or two truck. And, a lot of people just like yourself just didn't start out with a lot of money. Any good advice for those people? And what's a good thing to maybe look out for?
Well, it would be tough to do what we did back in 1974 now, just because a lot of the regulations are different. So it would be tough, but I would find a good customer. I would find a good company that I trusted, that I knew was going to pay me, and I would just go to work.
I hear that, So all y'all out there, if you're not hearing between the lines, Ms. Marcia says build some relationships. Go out there and grab some shippers, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. We had two. We had Sunshine and Ford, and we built this company on those two customers.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
And so I just love it that, because I'm what they call right now a practicing entrepreneur, because I haven't figured out how to make money yet. and so when I talk to you and I see what, you and your team have built and all of your employees and drivers have built up to this moment. And it just kind of makes me smile a little bit, thinking that there's a small chance for, a normal person out there that doesn't come from money to do something special.
It certainly is. And there again, you've got to be willing to work. You've got to be willing to go all in. And one of the things about Bennett is we had some wonderful people. I mean, Bennett, I say that we're built on the shoulders of some giants, because we had great people like Bill Ford, John Piney, that were here at the beginning and helped us. And when I lost JD in 1981, we had finally gotten the company to where we had gotten some trucks. We found a bank that would give us a credit line, which was pretty important.
Yeah.
And so we had gotten more customers. And then when JD passed away in 1981, we just kind of looked around and we said, okay, I've still got 3 small children. We've got a business. And if we all want to just jump in here and work, I think we can make this go. We really didn't have a lot of choice.
I love that, and Ms. Marcia, tell me if this is true, right? I try to Google up some stuff on this, but when it comes to privately held trucking companies, pretty much a woman-owned now, you're the biggest one.
I think so. I don't really know either, but I think we are.
Do you ever think in a gazillion years, when you guys took out that $500 credit line, that you'd be where you are today?
No way. In fact, I sometimes think about it, and in my mind, I still think about we're that same little company.
I love that.
I don't always realize or don't always think about all the things that we do now. My husband, JD, was a truck driver. He drove a truck all his life until he came to Georgia to start this little trucking company. And so, I love our drivers. Some of the best times that I can remember is sitting on the back of a flatbed trailer listening to truck driver stories while somebody grilled out. out in the parking lot. And then on Sunday, my mother lived with us, and she worked at Bennett to start with. We've always been a family company. And so JD would come to the truck stop, and my mom we would cook dinner, and whatever drivers were here, he would bring them home with him for dinner.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So
That's cool.
My kids, my boys, and Lynette grew up in this business. I mean, they filled Coke containers. They stacked beer that was spilled from Pabst. I mean, they grew up in this business working.
I have a silly question to ask you.
Okay.
You know, I think the world wants to know, out of David, Danny, and Lynette, which one's your favorite this week? This week.
You know, I couldn't have a favorite. They're both so different.
Great PR answer. It's not like they were going to watch this anyways.
No, no. And of course, my daughter is my baby. So
Always the baby.
always the baby.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this, Ms. Marcia. You kind of gave your answer because I was eating at a buffet the other day, and I told my mom, I said, "Why is my brother your favorite?" And then you know what she says?
What'd you say?
Instead of saying that, no, he's not, she goes, "Well, he's had it harder than you, honey." So I'm reading through the lines right now, and I'm just gonna say Lynette's the baby. So David, Danny, if you want anything, be nice to Lynette, and you know, no, that is so wonderful. You know, I just think it's great, your humbleness. For people that don't know, when you guys watch this video, Miss Marcia didn't even know that we were actually doing a video call. You know, David and I are friends, and she just thought I was stopping by just to say hello, and that was it. And so when we were like, "Hey, can we turn on the camera and do a little thing?" She was like, "Sure, I guess," you know. And when I see that, that's kind of like that humbleness. You know, one thing that I thought was cool was you stated that you guys used to live in a mobile home, and now you guys have one of the biggest mobile home, right, transportation businesses, right? I don't want to say that, but
We do. We are. We're the largest. Always say non-union transport of manufactured houses and modular buildings in the U.S. And I know I look at it and sometimes think it's very ironic because that's how we started, was in a mobile home.
For anyone that wants to do their best in this business, and I know there's things that, you know, you can't control and things are getting harder, like we talked about. You know, what's the best leadership characteristic that you think a owner operator or small trucking company leader should have?
Well, I think that integrity is, you know, Bennett has core values. We have a set of core values that we live off of. We make all our decisions off of those values, and sometimes they're not always popular decisions, but it's the right decision. And so I think you've got to have integrity. I think you need to be humble, and I give God all the glory for us being here today. We have a lot of drivers, and I love all of them, and I just want them to know how much they're respected, and we pray for our drivers every day. We have a chaplain that does Bible study on Wednesdays, and you know, the job they do is so amazing, and they don't get the respect that they should get. I will never forget during COVID, we have a little ranch out in Wyoming, and I was out there and went into Smith's grocery store, and I was standing there looking at the shelves, and they were bare. And I was just standing there looking at them thinking, oh my goodness, what are we going to, you know, there's no food here. What are we going to do? And I always remember this lady that worked there coming by, and she patted me on the shoulder and she said, honey, don't worry. There'll be a truck here tomorrow.
Hey, I love that.
And I thought that just said it all, didn't it?
Yeah, that's great. You know, no, it's and I think that's what it is, right? That pyramid of leadership, where a lot of times a trucking company will put, you know, and everyone's important at a trucking company, but they put the truck driver last, and then they, you know, and it seems like, you've kind of flipped that pyramid, and you're like, okay, what do we need to do to put these truck drivers first? And I think that's great.
Well, we know here, and you can ask, we know we don't have a job if it's not the job that our drivers do out on the road.
It's just, this conversation is just so great. So, okay, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun questions, because, you look pretty fit, girl. Okay, what's your workout regimen look like? Are you working out every day, running 10 miles a day, or what's going on?
Oh, no, I wish I was. Gosh, I like to do Pilates. I like to hike. That's about the extent of it.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
How about favorite food? What are you, a barbecue girl? Or are you?
No, I'm an ice cream girl.
Ooh, I'm an ice cream guy.
Yeah, I love ice cream.
Oh,
That's
no.
probably my downfall. Is
Oh,
ice
yeah.
cream.
Oh, if someone wants 10 minutes of my time, I told them, just bring some ice cream. I said, we can have a conversation. I don't care what you're pitching me.
I took one of the young girls to lunch the other day that was an employee of the month.
Yeah.
And she, excuse me, when we got finished with lunch, she asked me, she said, have you ever had a Freddy's? And I said, no, I don't even know what that is. Well, I don't know if you know what a Freddy's is or not.
Well, I think I've seen it before.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they have these beautiful ice cream cones and sundaes. And so she went after we got back from lunch, and she got me one and got Tammy something. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish she had not introduced me to Freddy's, because that ice cream is wonderful.
You might start looking like me.
I tell you what,
I'll tell you what.
I might have to work out a whole heck of a lot more.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're stuck on ice cream. Was it vanilla, chocolate, cookies and cream? I mean, what's our go-to flavor?
Oh, I like all of it actually, but I like pecan and peanut butter and all that good stuff.
Oh, that's good. I like Reese's Pieces
We may
too.
have to go to Freddy's when we get done.
Yeah, we might. What does it take, to build something big like this and make it flow?
It takes really good people, and that's something we have always been blessed with, is just great people. And my kids, they've worked in this business since they were tiny. Whenever I would come to work when they were small, they'd sleep in a pallet behind my desk. So they've always worked in this business, and now I have 4. Is that right? 4 grandchildren that work here, and 2 great-grandson-in-laws.
Great-grand?
Yeah.
I thought you were
I'm sorry, grandchildren.
I was going to say, I thought you were like 57 years old.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah. No, I've got 4 grandchildren and 2 grandson-in-laws
Really?
that work here. So and Bennett's full of family. We love family. So there's a lot of mothers and daughters, and just a lot of family that works at Bennett.
At the end of the day, you're going to think back and you're going to be like, this was the nicest, easiest interview I've ever done. That's what.
Yes.
That's how it is. Now, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you guys. This is not a sponsored video. David, Danny, they're friends. Hey, if you want to work for them, work for them. If you don't, that's okay. Find somewhere great to work. And, that's kind of what we do. We just, we care. So that's kind of my advocacy it's for the truck drivers first.
We've got a lot of guys that's been here for a lot of years, and so we feel very blessed about that. And we have a lot of great people, a lot of great men and women that work here at Bennett. So
No, that's good. I think we're good. Hey, that's it.